I am trying to show you where we went so badly wrong.
Yeah.
The application of that siloed, myopic, reductionist science to this complex, cyclical system. You say,
and also, this is fairly recent in human history. This is not like
Yeah.
a new thing that people have been doing for hundreds of years.
The industrial system
Yeah.
is 80 years old or something.
Right.
Yeah. So, and in my mind, so we, when I went to University of Georgia, I learned animal nutrition from a professor who had a doctorate degree in animal nutrition, and he knew all about animal nutrition, but he didn't know shit about the soil. And I learned the health aspect from a veterinarian who knew all about the health aspect, but didn't know crap about photosynthesizing plants. And you see everybody in a separate discipline, and you get away from the holism that is what a biome is, what a complex system is. It's like if you were watching a ball game and through a wood fence, and you just had one board going, and the third baseman was there, and you were the third base coach. You know exactly what he's doing, and you got it. You have no idea what's going on first.
Right.
So you can't be a good coach because you can't see the whole biome, the whole system.
Yeah. Makes sense. And they don't teach a course on running whole systems? Like if someone wants to be a young farmer, if someone's interested in farming now, do they teach a course other than that savory type course? Do they teach something like that in American universities?
The only university in this country that I know of, that land grant university, you're talking about land grant universities for the ag schools, right? There's one renegade ag school, Michigan State University, that is actually a savory hub like us. And it's that way because there's one powerful professor there who gets it, a guy named Dr. Jason Roundtree. And he has been influential enough in that school, he has brought them in this direction. But land grant universities are not going to be where the change comes from, if there is a change. I don't know if it's going to be a change or not. And there's several reasons for that. One is, where those land grant universities are getting most of their funding these days?
Where?
Industry.
Oh, boy.
Big ag, big food. So, A, they're not incentivized. B, another symptom of the linear factory model is it lends itself to a how-to manual. You can write a how-to manual, somebody can, on how to put a rocket ship on the moon. Be a big old thick book, but you can do it. You can't write a how-to manual on operating Joe Rogan's Spotty or operating or running white oak pastures. It's too situational. Land grant universities need to be able to offer that how-to manual. That's what you do. You go there, you learn how beef cattle production or poultry production or agronomy or whatever it is. So the change won't come from university systems. I don't know if change is going to come or not, but we've said it won't come from big food. They're making too much money. It won't come from big ag. They're making too much money. It won't come from the government because they're getting the money that big ag and big food is giving them. It won't come from the university system because it won't come from farmers because of what I told you about their commitment and ownership to the status quo. So if there is a change, it'll come from consumers. And I don't know if it'll come from consumers or not because we're hopelessly addicted to obscenely cheap food.
Cheap and fast.
And easy and thoughtless. And
this brings back to what we were talking about earlier that we skipped over, but I wanted to bring back to it. You were talking about is it normal to live where 18 million people live in one place like that?
Okay, so I'm not an urban planner, but I can tell you what I know about the centralization of the food supply. So the difference in the way I farm today and the way my dad and I farmed and the way my great-granddad and granddad farmed is, those guys then and me now are focused on, hyper-focused on the land, because that's our savings account. That's our wealth. The animals, that's our checking account. They're coming and going, we're raising them. And the local economy, that's our market. When we industrialized, commoditized, and centralized agriculture, the industrialization was hell on the land and the water and the environment. We already talked about that. That's the industrialization. The centralization was hell on the local economy. Centralizing agriculture impoverished rural America. It caused it to be financially irrelevant, and it just wasn't needed anymore. And when something is not needed anymore and is irrelevant, it atrophies away. And that's what happened. And then the last one is commoditization. I want to talk about it too. But let me tell you about centralization. So, and how the industrialization impoverished it, and farming the way we farm re-enriches it. So when 25 years ago, when I started changing, I had typically about 3 employees, minimum wage. Payroll would be $1,000 a week. Today, fast forward, the way I farm, I got 180 employees, 180 something. My payroll is $100,000 every Friday in one of the poorest counties in America. And the town has gone from, during that period, being a ghost town, literally, to a little destination. And the reason is, when White Oak Pastures is the largest private employer in the county, and it's an economic driver. And of the 180-something employees I got, some of them are local, a lot of them moved in, and we moved those people in, and they needed a place to eat and sleep and drink and shop and play, and we provided it.